as you walk through the neighborhoods. And I personally don't know specifically what neighborhoods you walk through. I'm sure you've probably been here for a long time, or been here all your life. And I've seen 2 or 3 administrations, or at least 2, neglectfully not address the issue at Highville, the section of Hampton that it seems like that's another part of Hampton, and there's this part of Hampton. And it seems that there are more blacks and Hispanics that live at the other end of Hampton. And out of all the money that has come and gone, that part of Hampton is really the gateway into Hampton. And yet, we haven't seen any economic development of it. And yet, we still have gang members over there right on folks' property. They had the police substation down there. They practically ran the substation from out there. It's no longer there, probably in lack of resources. I don't know what neighborhoods you walk through. I don't know how often you walk through Highville. But walking through there won't get it. I would like to know what is your plan to bring some economic development and put a happy face on the interest of Hampton coming into Hampton, opposed to looking at the depressed part of Hampton and having people thinking that we're segregated and not together.
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. I attended the annual festival on Perry Ann Street. I don't know if they still do that, but I was very impressed with the vibrancy of the street and the people and the participation. It was pointed out that there was a lot at the end of the street that was owned by New Haven, and the kids in the neighborhood were playing in the street. And I thought, what a great idea it would be to have New Haven in conjunction with Hampton build a playground over there. It would be a perfect thing to do. But that doesn't get to your point. You're talking about economic development. I had proposed building the Public Safety Center on Putnam Avenue, the old Daddy-O Farm. It would have been a great concept, because I know, if you look at West Haven, for example, where they built their police facility, it revitalized the area that the new police department was located. We could have had something very similar. I knew that if we put something like that, police, fire, animal control, right there in Putnam Avenue, animal control right along the Farmington Canal line that was recently paved over, the kids could come and they could help recreate the dogs and animals that are there and help take care of that. The whole educational thing going on there. So that's what I had envisioned for that. Unfortunately, they chose the center of town as the place for that site. When we had that perfect golden opportunity, we owned the land. $6 million we paid for that land. We owned it. We sold it off in piece parts, and now the dream is gone. So, to your question, there was a golden opportunity to do it. This administration chose not to. As far as economic development goes, though, take a look at what's going on in North Haven, Universal Drive. There's a boom going on over there. Toys R Us recently vacated the property. Sears is currently still vacant. These are jobs for, somebody was asking about wages and jobs. All these jobs are migrating out of Hampton. What has this administration done to encourage economic development? That's got to stop. Again, I am a proponent of heavy economic development. We should look at brownfields, provide economic incentives for people to go and develop those brownfields so that they become viable part of the community and help the tax base. These are the things that we need to do. I have ideas and wanting to do it. I strongly support what you're trying to do in your area. I agree. I'm in the southern part of Hampton. Nothing has been done in the southern part of Hampton for a long, long time. I believe we need to start paying attention to the other half of the town. Thank you.
Economic development is tricky because it requires market intervention. What we need to do is we need to anchor. We are working with Mutual Housing to create a mixed-use development at the site of the former Johnson building across the street from Keefe Center. Mixed-use, artists, housing, and shops. What we really need to do is take a look at the map, to look at it from the bird's eye view and see how close that site and southern Connecticut are. We need to bring traffic in and out of that site. Now, once that happens, we can look across the street. Or across the street right now, there is a restaurant that's been there forever. It's an icon. There is a new large liquor store that is fairly new. There are a number of types of shops between there and Helen Street that are probably not the highest and best use. What we need to do is we need to take, whenever you build a Walmart, whenever you build a Home Depot, they do market studies. People will build just based simply on the fact that they're there. What we need to do is how we create a unified strip from the New Haven line up through Town and Green District.
What about gang situation?
Gang situation is, you know, you have to look at it two ways. One is it's a law enforcement situation. The substation is in fact at the old middle school. It continues to exist, and our community outreach officer is excellent. We need to provide more opportunities. Now, you're not going to be able to capture every kid. It's never going to happen. But if you can, there is a way to get a perfect storm. There are no summer jobs. If there are no opportunities for recreation, summer camps, etc. If the school that you are coming out of has not provided you any personal motivation to improve yourself, you are going to go down that way. Now, we're going to need a lot of help from parents, a lot of help from neighbors, from cousins, from grandparents to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, you know, if you take a look at some of the great schools, and I'm going to talk about Highville Leadership Academy, family environment, family environment. I'm going to talk about Winter Green Interdistrict, family environment, family environment. Those are not the kids that we have to worry about. The fact is, government can't do everything, but we can encourage the families, the neighbors, the communities to take ownership of the kids. We cannot be afraid of our children. We got to know them when they walk down the street. Now, I don't know the name of every kid in my neighborhood, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. But I know their face, and I say hello, I give them respect, and they give me respect. We have never had a problem on Gorham Avenue. By the same token, there are too many people who will see a group of 3 people and think that there's trouble afoot. There's not trouble afoot. They're kids being kids. We all did it. They do it too. There's some bad apples, and we got to take care of them. But it's a very complicated issue, and government can't provide the extent of the solution.
Can I take a minute to address the game? I was speaking with Lieutenant on the narcotics task force. He's mentioning to me about the Crips and the Bloods migrating over in from New Haven into Camden. He told me that they're taking about 1 to 2 handguns a week off the streets from the activity that he's currently seeing. He said the drugs are out of control. More so now than he's ever seen in 20 years on the force. Typically, this is unacceptable in and of itself. But the inaction of the current administration has proved to do nothing about the problem. One thing he mentioned to me, which I like the idea very much, is that they used to have a police program that went into the high schools at a very young age, starting in the 9th grade. And every year they would go through and do a training and education. Kids want to be organized. They want to feel like they belong to something. I encourage something like that for them to join and have some leadership. And maybe the police could head that up and help us move in that area. I think that would be a great thing to get these kids occupied in the camaraderie they feel in a gang environment could be transferred over to a more productive way of organizing, you know, and the police could help us get there. And so I was very encouraged when he said that. There are grants available so that we can fund the police officers to go into the schools and perhaps set up a program to do just that.